from the sheriff.
The Biden administration will announce new rules to help the smallest businesses during the pandemic. I'm Natalie Bragg with the changes, plus how President Biden will mark a grim coronavirus milestone with the nation.
And harrowing video from an emergency landing after a burning engine drops debris.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
New details emerge after a suspect is arrested and 2 bodies are found in Newton County, Missouri. The sheriff saying it's a double murder. This is the KOAM News at noon. I'm Jesse Irwin. Last night, deputies arrived in Avila, Missouri, where they found the bodies of a man and woman. About 11 hours later, early this morning around 4:30, deputies arrested a suspect in the homicides. The sheriff says there are not any suspects at large in the deaths of the 2 people. Sheriff Chris Jennings says this appears to be related to another incident from Friday when deputies were called to the scene of a body in a ditch alongside of a road. The victim was Briley O'Banion. Jasper County and Newton County believe the 2 people now dead were previously with O'Banion.
The 3 deceased and the Mr. Johnson are all acquaintances and were known to be associated with one another right up into this past weekend. And so because of that, we believe that these events are related, but due to the ongoing investigation, we're not prepared to make any further comments.
The person arrested in last night's double homicide is now in the Jasper County Jail awaiting formal charges. Well, turning now to the weather, and the thaw finally begins with a good old dose of sunshine for the next 2 days. Let's go over to Michael, who is standing by with a look at the weather.
And Jesse, that's thanks in part to a good high-pressure system hanging over the southwest portion of the United States. Limited cloud cover up to our north, and a live look from the Freeman Health System sky camera in Joplin, where we sit at a very comfortable February 50 degrees. Now look at that wind number right there, coming in at 16 miles per hour. Well, it's only going to increase as we get through the afternoon hours, but I tell you what that does, also gives us a nice little warm up as we sit mid-40s all the way to 50, and no difference in our wind chill. So that's a very positive aspect coming off the last 2 weeks. As we progress from Monday evening into Tuesday morning, yeah, we're going to dip down there kind of close to the freezing mark once again. But watch what happens on Tuesday. Throw a 60 up there on the board. Going to be absolutely delightful. So for our 7-day forecast, how about we just rock above normal temperatures on Monday and Tuesday? Now, Wednesday through Friday, yeah, we're looking at slight chances of rain. But all things said, hey, way above that freezing mark. Those raindrops going to stay as raindrops. No chance of anything flipping over on us for a wintry precipitation mix. As a matter of fact, I think we're clear as we head into March. Jesse?
Hallelujah. Thank you, sir. Well, Oklahomans who suffered winter storm damages are being asked to report those damages to the Oklahoma Department of Emergency Management and Homeland Security. The damages that are reportable include flooding from broken pipes, power surges that cause damage to furnaces, electrical systems, or major appliances, the number of days without water, gas, or electricity, the number of days displaced by the winter storm, and any injuries sustained as a result of the winter storm. Officials say reporting the damage helps the agency document the overall impact of the storm and help push its case for further assistance to help homeowners, renters, and business owners recover. You can report damages online at damage.ok.gov. A report from the Missouri Highway Patrol says the state experienced its highest number of traffic fatalities since 2007. Preliminary reporting for 2020 shows Missouri traffic fatalities increased by 12% compared to the previous year. 989 lives were lost in traffic crashes in 2020, up from 881 in 2019. That number includes 126 pedestrian deaths, the highest number in state history. The report says there were notable increases in unbuckled and speed-related fatalities. All this despite a lower number of cars on the highway due to the pandemic. Well, COVID-19 news also includes the state of Missouri surpassing 1 million COVID vaccines being administered. Missouri is one of 20 states so far that have hit this milestone. The state has used 85% of its supply. Governor Mike Parson took to social media saying, as supply continues to increase, more and more Missourians will have an opportunity to receive a vaccine, but it's important to remain patient and understand that demand for vaccines will still far outweigh supply for some time. Topping Nation Watch, the Biden administration is making changes to a popular program designed to keep employees on payrolls as the pandemic continues to take an economic toll. The president is also marking a staggering milestone as the number of lives lost in the U.S. due to the coronavirus reaches 500,000. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
President Biden is announcing rules to try and make it easier for the smallest businesses to stay open. Starting Wednesday, the administration will have a 2-week period in which only businesses with fewer than 20 employees will be allowed to apply for the Paycheck Protection Program's forgivable loans. The administration is also carving out $1 billion for sole proprietors such as contractors and beauticians, many of whom are women and people of color. It's also clarifying rules allowing non-citizen legal residents to apply to the program. This comes as Democrats are preparing to pass the president's $1.9 trillion COVID relief package out of the Budget Committee, setting up a final vote in the full House later this week. President Biden will also mark a grim milestone this evening as the nation mourns 500,000 Americans who have died from the coronavirus.
This is a horrible landmark that we've now reached.
President Biden will remember the lives lost with brief remarks, a moment of silence, and a candle lighting ceremony. And the National Cathedral will ring its bells 500 times to honor the dead. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
According to data from Johns Hopkins University, the U.S. has confirmed more coronavirus deaths than any other country. Brazil, the country with the second highest number of COVID deaths, has reported roughly half the number of deaths in the United States. Well, that's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on the KOAM News at noon, in-flight video of a commercial jet engine on fire that drops debris in a populated city. We'll have the latest on the emergency landing. And later, since we've also been known to roll a morning show around these parts, how about we bring you breakfast in a mug from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Dozens of Boeing 777 jets are grounded after an engine on a United Airlines plane broke apart and dropped debris on a Denver neighborhood. The plane landed safely and no one was hurt. Boeing says 777 planes using the same type of engine should not fly until they are fully inspected. Errol Barnett reports on the investigation of that frightening mid-air failure.
In this passenger's unnerving video, you can clearly see the casing of Flight 328's number 2 engine missing, debris falling away, and flames coming from inside.
It's just dropping pieces.
Pieces of that engine fell across roads, fields, and even at this person's front door in the Denver suburbs.
There's the engine right there, part of it, I guess.
Miraculously, there were no injuries on the ground, and the Hawaii-bound flight returned safely to Denver International. The NTSB, which is investigating, says after examining the plane and debris, they found 2 of the plane's Pratt & Whitney engine's fan blades were fractured, one near its root and a neighboring blade about halfway through, but it has not yet determined a cause for the failure. One source tells CBS News there are several incidents matching what happened over Denver, so the first step will be examining these engines and their blades to make sure they're safe for flight. Captain Lauren Einsettler is a commercial airline pilot with more than 3 decades of experience. She says planes are built to be able to fly on a single engine if necessary.
And what do you say to people who see something like this? They're already nervous about flying, and they think, this is an example of why I won't fly.
I would say the opposite. If anything, people should see that these aircraft are built to withstand so much, and these pilots are highly experienced and well-trained to handle situations.
Now, we are specifically talking about the Pratt & Whitney 4000 series engine, and the company says it is working with the NTSB. Also, Japan is grounding any aircraft using this model. United is the only US-based airline with this engine type, and it says a small number of passengers can expect to have their travel plans disrupted this week as they remove those engines for service. Errol Barnett, CBS News, Newark, New Jersey.
Well, still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
If you typically run out the door without eating breakfast, then I hope you can take a minute to watch what we're making today.
But first, Michael Hayslip dresses to the nines and returns with your complete forecast.
Truly is a far cry from the last time we visited on the KOAM News at Noon, where we were looking at 5 to 7 inches of accumulation. And yes, certainly we've still got a little snow on the ground, because when you have that much, it's going to take a while for everything to melt off. But it does look a little bit better, and look at this, as we push into the latter portion of February, we're even looking at some green grass. What a welcome relief. By the way, the bow tie is, do we still have that birthday list here? Jesse, do you have your list? We got to find out who that 2-year-old, we had a 2-year-old on the morning show that has smoking bow tie on, and this is kind of in tribute to him because he was such a sharp dressed dude. Our weather almanac for today, we're right on par for our average highs. So this is very, very welcome. And even overnight, we weren't too bad, as we sat at 29 degrees for a low compared to 31, which is where we should be. Now, I do want to make everybody a reminder for the state of Oklahoma. It is damage.ok.gov. Damage.ok.gov. If you have anything at all, something as simple as a busted pipe, and I know busted pipes aren't simple at all, but also too, that if you have any damage from this is going to help the state. You could be available for assistance. So in the state of Oklahoma, damage.ok.gov. I understand we have the young man's picture here. Is that true? Yeah, there you go. This is what I'm mimicking today. It's not something I bust out often, but I see Cooper Miller, like a sharp-dressed dude, celebrating his, what is it, number 2, right? Yeah, celebrating his second coop. This is all for you, my brother. All right, let's go back to what we feel temperature-wise right now. Everything from high 40s, where we see 48 in Pittsburgh, all the way up to the mid-50s. Pair of 54s in Independence and Neodesha, right in high 40s with 49s in Carthage and Monette. Back to the Freeman Health System sky camera so we can check out what it's like in Joplin. And while it's 50 degrees, I really do want to point out our winds, because we are simply going to keep increasing. This is our wind gust tracker right now. Watch it monumentally increase to the point where we're looking at 30 miles per hour in Independence and Chanute, just about 30 in both Joplin and Nevada, coming out of the southwest, feeding us warmer temperatures, but also too, high-profile vehicles. I want everybody to be aware. You'll notice this big swath of clear blue sky with all the precipitation pushing off all the way to the mid-Atlantic. Great Lakes going to have to deal with their fair share of snow, and the 4 states looking absolutely gorgeous, and here's why. There's a big high-pressure system that's hanging over the southwest, and it's just forcing everything this way. And the nice part is, this upper tier, while it moves this way, it's going to take that low-pressure system and keep it in the upper plains. That's really not going to affect us. Slowly but surely, we're seeing the color contour with the freezing cold temperatures we had for the past 2 weeks recede back to the north, where the Canadians, they can have it. We're done. I don't want any more of it. Canada, it's all yours. Sunny into the mid-50s later on this afternoon. The wind will persist, though. You know, usually after a sunset, we'll see that wind die down a little bit. Not necessarily the case. We're still going to have some gusts of 20 to 25 miles per hour even after sunset, but clear skies, falling down around the freezing mark. So God, watch out for that refreeze tomorrow morning. Don't want you to get caught in any slick spots, because it will drop down to about 32 degrees. But here's the nice part. By the time we get into Tuesday afternoon, we're cruising into the 60s. We're talking about being 50 degrees Tuesday at 9 o'clock. I mean, this is just absolutely perfect. Now, we do have a chance for some slight rain here from Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But at the same point in time, our temperatures, I don't think we can complain about that. We don't have to worry about anything flipping over. And our rain is pretty much going to be during the day. So even these overnight temperatures aren't going to affect it. And then we push into a weekend with temperatures in the 50s, if not 60 on Sunday. Jesse.
When Michael starts wearing a bow tie every day, I'm sorry, and you're welcome. We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero. Chief Donald Gardner, the Jasper, Missouri native, served in the United States Army, in the U.S. Navy. We're proud to salute Chief Donald Gardner. He is today's 4-state hero. If breakfast truly is the most important meal of the day, well then why not make it easy and throw it in a cup on your way out the door? Well, Howard has an answer for us in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
If grabbing a mug of coffee and running out the door in the morning sounds familiar to you, I hope you can take a minute to watch what we're making today. As we all know, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. That's why we're sharing a grab-and-go breakfast that's super fast and really tasty. It's so easy, you'll have no excuses for skipping breakfast ever again. The first thing you're going to want to do is add some refrigerated or frozen hash browns into a good-sized microwavable mug. After microwaving this for a bit, we add a couple of beaten eggs, a splash of water, some sliced up breakfast sausage, and a little cheddar cheese. Then give it a mix and pop it back in the microwave for a minute. Okay, after a quick stir, more cheese goes on top and we microwave it just long enough for the eggs to set and the cheese on top to melt. This is one of those recipes that
with developmental
has no
disabilities
rules.
and
Want to
their
add crumbled bacon or a veggie? Go for it. Once it's done, grab a fork and go. Just wait until you get the taste of this all-in-one breakfast. It's amazing. To get the recipe for our protein-packed breakfast in a mug, all you need to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an on-the-go way for you to
Here is
say,
more than just
it's so good.
Well, you can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at your 4-state market prices.
Couple more degrees to go, and what's a beautiful Monday in February. Sunshine and all the way up into the mid-50s. Now, the southwest wind will persist overnight as we fall close to the freezing mark, but look at what we have in store for Tuesday. Temperatures close to 60 and all that rain Wednesday through Friday. Nah, ain't no chance for snow. We're just going to keep it as rain. Jesse?
Well, coming up tonight at 5, many automakers are amped about the future of electric-powered cars, and now some taxi and ride-hailing services are getting on board. We'll look at the future of electric rides, plus the latest on a double homicide that deputies believe is tied to a third body found last week. And we'll hear from the mayor and health department on the latest COVID-19 update for Joplin. Join us for those stories and more on the KOAM News at 5. Thank you so much for joining us on the KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at what time, Michael?
5 o'clock.